The morning sun glinted off the waves as Dr. Olivia Martinez guided her small research boat across the Florida coastline. Through her binoculars, she spotted something unusual, a vessel unlike any she had seen before. It hovered just above the water's surface, its metallic hull reflecting the sunlight with an odd purple tint. "That's not one of ours," she muttered, adjusting course to investigate. As she approached, the strange vessel lowered what appeared to be a ramp. Olivia's heart pounded in her chest. After 15 years as a marine biologist, she thought she had seen everything the ocean had to offer. She was wrong. A tall, slender figure emerged. It had bluish-gray skin and large, oval eyes that blinked vertically. Behind it came two similar beings, each carrying devices that resembled tablets. "Hello," Olivia called out, surprising herself with her own boldness. "I'm Dr. Olivia Martinez." The tallest being stepped forward. "Greetings, Earth scientist. I am Zach Snor, chief researcher of the Voldarian Confederation Xenobiology Division." Its voice had an electronic quality, suggesting some kind of translation device. Olivia's mouth went dry. "You're not from Earth." "Correct. We represent an alliance of 27 spacefaring species. We have been observing your planet's wildlife for approximately 73 of your days." One of the other aliens moved forward. It was shorter, with a more greenish tint to its skin. "I am Klevtor, junior researcher," it said. "Your predatory species are particularly fascinating." Olivia gripped the side of her boat. "Why are you studying our animals?" Zach Snor gestured toward the vessel. "Perhaps you would care to come aboard. We can explain our mission more thoroughly." Every scientific instinct told Olivia to accept. This was first contact, actual aliens studying Earth's wildlife. After a moment's hesitation, she nodded. Inside the alien vessel, Olivia's eyes widened. The walls displayed moving images of Earth animals: lions chasing gazelles, eagles swooping down on fish, sharks attacking seals. Each display showed predators in action. "Our Confederation maintains a catalog of potentially dangerous life forms across explored space," Zach Snor explained. "This helps establish safety protocols for member species who might visit these worlds." Klevtor pointed to a screen showing a honey badger fighting a snake. "This small creature displays remarkable aggression. It attacks animals much larger than itself with no apparent fear." "That's just a honey badger," Olivia said. "They're tough, but they're not dangerous to people if you leave them alone." The aliens exchanged glances. "Not dangerous." Klevtor seemed genuinely confused. "It attacks venomous serpents. It raids bee colonies despite painful stings. It even challenges large predatory mammals." Olivia smiled. "Earth has much more dangerous animals than honey badgers." "Yes, we have observed your bears, large cats, and aquatic predators," Zach Snor said. "Your world has an unusually high concentration of predatory species." The alien led her to a larger room with a holographic display of Earth. Red dots covered the planet, each representing a predator species. "We have been monitoring your world from orbit for decades," Zach Snor continued. "Only recently did we receive permission to establish direct contact." "Why now?" Olivia asked. "Your species has achieved sufficient technological development. The Confederation Council deemed it time to make ourselves known." Klevtor brought up images of wolves hunting in packs, crocodiles ambushing at waterholes, and octopuses solving complex puzzles. "The problem-solving abilities of your predators are particularly concerning," Klevtor said. "Many show signs of advanced tactical thinking." "That's just natural selection," Olivia explained. "Animals that hunt need to be smart." Zach Snor's large eyes blinked slowly. "Most worlds we catalog have only a handful of apex predators. Your planet has hundreds across multiple environments. Even your herbivores can be aggressive when threatened." The alien touched the display, bringing up a video of a hippopotamus charging a boat. "Dr. Martinez," Zach Snor said, its tone suddenly formal. I must inform you that your planet's wildlife registry will need to be filed under extreme hazard classification. Olivia frowned. What does that mean? It means, Clev said quietly, that from the perspective of galactic standards, you live on a planet of living weapons. Captain Eric Daniels stood stiffly in his naval uniform as he waited outside the makeshift alien embassy. 1 week after first contact, the U.S. government had assigned him as military liaison to the Voldarian research team. Captain Daniels. Dr. Martinez approached, looking tired but excited. They're ready for us. They entered together. Inside, Zach Snor and 3 other aliens were studying wildlife footage on floating screens. Welcome, Captain, said Zach Snor with a slight bow. We appreciate your government's cooperation. Eric nodded. I'm here to ensure smooth relations and address any security concerns. Clev the junior researcher, stepped forward nervously. Will we be observing more Earth predators today? Yes, Olivia answered. We've arranged a safe viewing of a wolf pack in Yellowstone National Park. The aliens whispered among themselves. Eric caught words like pack hunters and apex predators. Before we depart, Zach Snor said, perhaps you could help us understand something. Why do your people seem so comfortable living among such dangerous creatures? Eric and Olivia exchanged glances. What's dangerous to you might not be to us, Eric explained. We evolved alongside these animals. On our homeworld, there were very few predatory species, Clev said. Most Confederation planets have relatively tame ecosystems. That explains a lot, Olivia murmured. 2 hours later, their helicopter landed in a remote area of Yellowstone. The aliens wore special suits that helped them breathe Earth's air and adjust to the gravity. Remember to stay quiet, Eric instructed as they hiked to the observation blind. Wolves have excellent hearing. Clev jumped at every bird call and rustling leaf. Are there many predators in this forest? Bears, cougars, coyotes, Olivia listed casually. But they usually avoid humans. Usually. Clev vertical eyelids blinked rapidly. From the safety of the blind, they watched as a wolf pack appeared in the meadow below. 7 gray wolves moved together, following an older female. Fascinating, Zach Snor whispered, recording the scene. They maintain a complex social structure. The wolves suddenly froze, then changed direction. The pack spread out, circling something in the tall grass. They found prey, Olivia explained. Watch how they coordinate. The aliens watched in silence as the wolves closed in on an elk. The hunt was quick and efficient. They communicated without vocalizing, one of the Voldarian researchers noted. Each knew its role. That's normal hunting behavior, Eric said. On our worlds, this would be considered military-grade tactical coordination, Zach Snor replied. As they watched the wolves feed, a sudden crashing sound came from behind their blind. Everyone turned as a large grizzly bear emerged from the trees, attracted by the smell of the kill. The wolves scattered, growling. The bear claimed the elk carcass. We should leave, Eric said quietly. Slowly. But as they began to back away, the wind shifted. The bear raised its head, catching their scent. With a low growl, it turned toward the blind. It senses us, Clev whispered, trembling. The bear stood on its hind legs, over 8 feet tall, and roared. The Voldarians froze in terror. Eric calmly reached for the bear spray on his belt. Stay behind me, he said. Don't run. The bear dropped to all fours and took a step toward them. Eric sprayed a cloud between them and the bear. The animal huffed, shook its head, and retreated into the trees. That was. Zach Snor seemed unable to find words. A normal day in Yellowstone, Olivia finished with a small smile. Back at the helicopter, the aliens remained silent until they were airborne. Your world, Zach Snor finally said, is unlike any we have cataloged. Your animals hunt in teams. They use strategy. They solve problems. And you, Humans have adapted to live among them. Is that bad? Eric asked. Not bad, Zaxnor replied. But it explains much about your species. You evolved on a world where even herbivores can kill you. No wonder humans are so resilient. Klevtor looked out the window at the wilderness below. If this is your normal environment, what kind of creatures must you be? A week after the Yellowstone incident, Olivia paced nervously in the conference room at the newly established International Alien Relations Center. Captain Daniels stood by the window, watching Voldarian ships hover above the city. They'd been in there for 3 hours, Olivia said. What could they be discussing for so long? The classification of an entire planet takes time, Eric replied. At least that's what Zaxnor told me. The doors finally opened. 5 senior Voldarians entered, followed by Zaxnor and Klevtor. Their expressions were unreadable to human eyes. Dr. Martinez, Captain Daniels, Zaxnor began formally. The High Command has reached a decision regarding Earth's classification. The lead Voldarian, wearing elaborate silver markings on its suit, stepped forward. I am Supreme Commander Vrilkson of the Voldarian High Command. After reviewing all research data, we have classified Earth as a Class 5 death world with Level 4 weaponized fauna. Olivia frowned. What does that mean exactly? It means, Klevtor explained quietly, that your planet is considered extremely dangerous by Confederation standards. Your wildlife has been officially categorized as living weapons. Eric stepped forward. With all due respect, Commander, our animals are just animals. They evolved naturally. That is precisely what makes them so concerning, Vrilkson replied. Natural evolution on your world has produced creatures with combat capabilities that other species must engineer. Zaxnor activated a holographic display showing various Earth animals. Bears, tigers, snakes, even seemingly harmless creatures like mantis shrimp and honey badgers. These species possess natural weapons that would be illegal if artificially created on many Confederation worlds, Zaxnor explained. Illegal? Olivia couldn't believe what she was hearing. They're just trying to survive. A cobra can kill with a single bite, one Voldarian said. Your box jellyfish has no brain yet possesses one of the deadliest venoms in the galaxy. Your honey badgers ignore pain and fight opponents 4 times their size. And you humans, Vrilkson added, have evolved alongside these creatures. This explains much about your species' resilience and aggression. Olivia felt her temper rising. This classification is outrageous. What are the implications? The aliens exchanged glances. There will be certain restrictions, Vrilkson said carefully. What kind of restrictions? Eric asked, his voice hardening. Planets with Death World classification face strict travel limitations, Klevtor explained. No Earth wildlife may be transported off-planet without special permits. Human space travel will be closely monitored. You're quarantining us. Olivia was incredulous. It is standard procedure, Vrilkson said. I need to inform my superiors immediately, Eric said, reaching for his phone. Outside the room, an aide rushed in and whispered to Vrilkson. The commander's eyes widened. It seems news of Earth's classification has leaked to our media, Vrilkson said. Footage of your predators is being broadcast across Confederation space. Klevtor activated a screen showing alien news broadcasts. Videos of lions hunting, eagles swooping, and sharks feeding played while alien reporters spoke excitedly. They're treating our wildlife like some kind of horror show, Olivia said, watching the footage. Many species find Earth's predators terrifying yet fascinating, Zaxnor explained. Your planet has become quite the sensation. Great, Eric muttered. We're the galaxy's nightmare zoo. A new alert flashed on the screen. Vrilkson read it and turned to them. The Confederation Military Council has taken interest in Earth's classification, he said gravely. They are sending a delegation to conduct their own assessment. Military Council? Eric asked. Why would they be involved? Clev looked uncomfortable. The military council oversees potential biological threats. They will want to examine your wildlife, and you humans, more closely. What exactly does that mean? Olivia demanded. It means, Zack Snore said softly, that some in the Confederation now view not just Earth's animals, but possibly humans themselves, as biological weapons. The arrival of the Confederation Military Council's ship cast a massive shadow over the Washington, D.C. landing zone. Twice the size of the research vessels, its dark metallic surface bristled with what looked suspiciously like weapons. Dr. Carol Fisher adjusted her glasses nervously. As the nation's top wildlife biologist, she had been called in to join the diplomatic team. Beside her stood Lieutenant Sam West, a Special Forces officer with experience in jungle warfare. Remember, Captain Daniels instructed them quietly, we need to convince them our animals aren't weapons. The future of Earth's place in the galaxy depends on it. The ship's ramp extended, and a group of aliens marched down in perfect formation. Unlike the scientific Voldarians, these wore armored suits with various insignia. The leader stepped forward, taller than the others, with reddish skin and 4 eyes arranged vertically. I am Commander Vexar of the Confederation Military Council, it announced. We have come to assess the biological threat level of this planet. Dr. Martinez stepped forward. Commander, I assure you, our wildlife poses no threat to the Confederation. That remains to be determined. Vexar replied coldly. Our initial reports are concerning. Over the next 3 days, the military delegation reviewed all the research data collected by the scientific team. They watched hours of footage showing predators hunting, venomous creatures striking, and even herbivores defending themselves. On the 4th day, Lieutenant West found Clev alone in the research lab, studying footage of army ants. These tiny creatures overwhelm prey many times their size through sheer numbers and coordination. Clev muttered, just like your human armies once did. We're not here to threaten anyone. Sam said, Earth just wants peaceful relations. Clev turned to face him. Lieutenant, I must share something with you. Not everyone in the Confederation fears Earth's wildlife. The alien lowered its voice. Some see opportunity. What kind of opportunity? Military opportunity. Some factions believe Earth's predators could be weaponized. Others see humans as potential soldiers, given your evolution alongside dangerous creatures. Sam's eyes narrowed. Are you saying they want to recruit us? Perhaps. Or quarantine you. The military council is divided. Meanwhile, Dr. Fisher was showing Commander Vexar data on Earth's ecosystems. Your predators evolved naturally as part of balanced systems, she explained. They're not weapons. They're just living things. On most Confederation worlds, Vexar replied, a creature with the venom potency of your box jellyfish would be considered an engineered bioweapon. But that's the point, Carol insisted. They weren't engineered. This is natural selection at work. Vexar's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, which makes humans all the more remarkable. You evolved on this death world. You survived alongside these creatures. Some in the council believe this makes your species inherently dangerous. At the evening briefing, the team shared what they had learned. We have a problem, Captain Daniels said. Some see us as threats, others as potential weapons. There's more, Sam added, explaining what Clev had told him. Some factions want to use Earth's wildlife as actual weapons. Dr. Martinez looked horrified. We can't let that happen. I've discovered something else, Carol said. I was checking the alien database they've compiled. Several Earth species have been marked for special interest. Wolves, honey badgers, even octopuses. What does special interest mean? Sam asked. I think, Eric said grimly, it means they're planning to take samples. Or worse. Olivia's phone beeped with a message from Clev Emergency. Meet me in lab. Discovered unauthorized collection plan. We need to move fast, she told the others. I think they're already taking our animals. Outside the window, a smaller Voldarian ship lifted off silently into the night sky. That's not on today's flight schedule, Eric said, watching it disappear into the clouds. I think, Sam replied. We've just witnessed the first wildlife abduction in galactic history. Dawn broke over the African savanna as the human alien delegation arrived at the safari camp. After the discovery of unauthorized animal collection, Commander Vexar had agreed to a first-hand demonstration of Earth wildlife in their natural habitat. This is the best way to understand our animals, Dr. Fisher explained as they boarded open-topped vehicles, seeing them in context, not just as isolated predators. Greg Mason, a weathered park ranger with 20 years of experience, would be their guide. He eyed the aliens warily as he checked his rifle. This is just a precaution, he assured the nervous Voldarians. I haven't fired it at an animal in 15 years. As their vehicles moved across the grasslands, zebras and gazelles scattered before them. Klevtor recorded everything, eyes wide with fascination. These herbivores, Olivia explained, evolved alongside predators. Speed and vigilance are their defense. Even your plant eaters seem designed for conflict. Vexar noted. Those horns could pierce armor. Greg pointed out a herd of elephants in the distance, Earth's largest land animal, completely herbivorous, but they can crush a car if threatened. The aliens whispered among themselves. Commander Vexar seemed particularly interested in the elephant's size and strength. Your military has never weaponized these creatures, he asked. We tried, centuries ago, Captain Daniels admitted. War elephants, but we've moved beyond using animals in warfare. They stopped for lunch beside a watering hole where hippos soaked in the sun. Lieutenant West noticed several aliens scanning the animals with handheld devices. What are those readings for? He asked casually. Standard biological assessments, one alien replied too quickly. The day proceeded without incident until late afternoon, when Greg suddenly raised his hand for silence. He pointed to a nearby acacia tree where 6 lionesses rested in the shade. We didn't plan this, he whispered, but it's a perfect opportunity to observe apex predators at rest. The vehicle stopped at a safe distance. The lions seemed unbothered by their presence. They look so peaceful, Klevtor remarked. They are, Dr. Fisher said, until they hunt. As if on cue, one lioness raised her head, nostrils flaring. She stood, muscles rippling beneath her tawny coat. The others followed her gaze toward a group of impala approaching the watering hole. They're going to hunt, Greg said quietly. Stay absolutely still. The aliens watched, transfixed, as the lions spread out with silent coordination. The lead lioness disappeared into the tall grass, while the others positioned themselves strategically. Their tactical formation. Commander Vexar murmured. It's precisely calculated. When the ambush came, it was lightning fast. The impala scattered, but one was caught in the jaws of the lead lioness. The kill was quick and efficient. One of the military officials suddenly stood up in panic, causing their vehicle to rock. The movement caught the attention of the lions. A young male turned toward them, curious and alert. Sit down, Greg ordered firmly. No sudden movements. But the alien was frozen in fear. The lion took a step toward their vehicle, golden eyes fixed on them. Lieutenant West slowly reached for the official and pulled him down into his seat. The lion watched for another long moment, then turned away to join the others at the kill. You just saved his life, Klevtor whispered to Sam. Not really, Sam replied. The lion was just curious. Greg had it under control. Later, as they returned to camp in the fading light, Commander Vexar pulled up beside the human's vehicle. I have seen enough, he announced. Your wildlife is indeed formidable. But what interests me more is how casually you humans handle these deadly creatures. We respect them, Greg said simply. We don't fear them unnecessarily. That, Vexar replied, is precisely what concerns the military council. A species that considers apex predators merely interesting rather than terrifying must itself be exceptionally dangerous. As night fell over the savannah, the distant roar of a lion echoed across the plains. The aliens flinched. The humans smiled. "This is completely unnecessary," Dr. Martinez argued as she faced Commander Vexar across the conference table. "A wilderness challenge proves nothing about Earth's status." 3 days after the safari, the commander had proposed a test: 5 humans against 5 alien commandos in a controlled wilderness environment. "On the contrary," Vexar replied, "it will demonstrate whether your adaptations to this death world give you military advantages." Captain Daniels leaned forward. "And if we refuse? Then the Military Council will make its assessment based solely on existing data, which already suggests humans are dangerous biological entities." Outside the room, Greg Mason waited with Sam West. When Olivia and Eric emerged, their expressions told the story. "We're doing it, aren't we?" Greg asked. Eric nodded grimly. "We need 5 wilderness experts. You in?" Greg smiled slightly. "Wouldn't miss it." 1 week later, the human team gathered at the edge of a vast wilderness preserve in Montana. Besides Greg and Sam, they had recruited Kelly Rodriguez, a search and rescue expert, Ben Patel, a survival instructor, and Allison Kim, a former Special Forces tracker. The rules were simple: survive 1 week in the wilderness and capture the opposing team's flag. No firearms allowed, though basic tools and emergency supplies were permitted. The alien team consisted of 5 elite commandos from different Confederation species. Their leader, a tall purple-skinned being named Drez Khan, approached the humans before the challenge began. "May the best species win," he said, his translator conveying the words without emotion. "This isn't about species," Kelly replied. "It's about skills." Drez Khan's 4-fingered hand gestured dismissively. "Skills shaped by evolution on a death world." At dawn, the challenge began. Each team entered the wilderness from opposite sides of a 50-square-mile area. Commander Vexar, Dr. Martinez, and Captain Daniels would monitor from a hovering observation platform. The human team moved efficiently through the forest. Greg took the lead, reading the landscape like a book. "Water that way," he said, pointing north. "We'll need a base camp near it." By midday, they had established a simple camp and were planning their strategy. "They'll have technology we don't," Ben pointed out. "Better night vision, probably some kind of enhanced senses. But they don't know this environment," Allison countered. "That's our advantage." Sam nodded. "Plus, they're likely to stick together. Military units usually do in unfamiliar terrain. So we use the landscape against them," Greg concluded. Over the next 3 days, the humans set subtle traps throughout the forest, not to harm the aliens, but to track and confuse them. They used mud to mask their scent from alien sensors. They traveled by night when the nocturnal animals would provide cover noise. From the observation platform, Dr. Martinez watched with growing pride. "Your people are remarkably adapted," Commander Vexar admitted. "They move like they're part of the environment." "That's the point we've been trying to make," Olivia said. "Humans aren't separate from nature. We're part of it." On the 4th day, the alien team walked into a trap. Thinking they were following human tracks, they instead found themselves circling back to their own camp. Frustrated, Drez Khan ordered his team to split up. Exactly what the humans had hoped for. Greg and Allison shadowed 2 aliens through a dense forest section. When one alien stopped to use a scanner, Greg silently gathered a handful of forest debris. "What are you doing?" Allison whispered. Greg smiled and tossed the debris onto a nearby rotting log. Instantly, thousands of insects swarmed out, confusing the aliens' biosensors. "Natural countermeasures," Greg explained quietly. Meanwhile, Sam and Kelly had located the alien flag. Ben created a diversion by deliberately triggering one of their perimeter alerts on the opposite side of the alien camp. As the remaining alien guards rushed to investigate, Sam slipped in and captured the flag. From above, Commander Vexar watched in silence. They didn't just survive in the wilderness, Captain Daniels said. They weaponized it, without harming a single creature. Yes, Vexar replied slowly. That is precisely what concerns us. Night had fallen at the Confederation research base when Olivia slipped through the shadows to meet Clevtor. The junior researcher had sent her an urgent message after the wilderness challenge ended. Thank you for coming, Clevtor whispered, glancing nervously around the empty lab. What I am about to show you violates several Confederation protocols. He activated a hidden data panel. Images appeared showing alien scientists examining Earth animals in sterile chambers. These facilities aren't on any official records, Clevtor explained. A faction within the Confederation is collecting Earth species without authorization. Olivia stared at footage of wolves, eagles, and even honey badgers in laboratory settings. Who's behind this? A group called the Biological Assets Division. They specialize in weaponizing life forms. Across the base, Captain Daniels and Lieutenant West were conducting their own investigation. Using Sam's Special Forces training, they had accessed the landing logs for all Confederation vessels. There, Eric pointed at the screen. Multiple unlisted shuttle flights, small craft, perfect for quick collection missions. Sam studied the flight patterns. They've hit every continent. Africa, South America, Australia. The most dangerous wildlife regions, Eric realized. Meanwhile, Dr. Fisher had discovered something equally disturbing in the medical lab. She had been granted access to study alien biology, but instead found genetic samples from Earth animals. These are sequenced predator genes, she told Greg Mason when they met secretly. They're studying how to replicate the venom delivery system of cobras, the strength of gorillas, the hunting instincts of wolves. Greg's weathered face darkened. They're not just studying our animals. They're trying to create new ones. The next morning, the team gathered in Olivia's hotel room, away from alien monitoring. We need to compile everything we've discovered, Olivia said. Commander Vexar needs to see this. Can we trust him? Sam asked. Eric considered this. He's military, but he's always been straightforward. I think he values honor. When presented with their evidence, Commander Vexar's 4 eyes widened in sequence. The Biological Assets Division, he growled. I suspected their involvement. You knew about this, Olivia demanded. I suspected unauthorized activity, Vexar corrected. That is partly why I insisted on coming to Earth myself. The commander called up his own secure files. The division operates on the fringes of Confederation law. They seek biological advantages for military applications. They're creating biological weapons from our animals, Dr. Fisher said. Not just weapons, Vexar replied grimly. Soldiers. Look. He showed them classified footage of alien scientists discussing human DNA. Your species evolved alongside Earth's predators, Vexar explained. Some believe your genetic adaptations could be incorporated into enhanced Confederation soldiers. The humans exchanged horrified glances. We need to stop them, Greg said simply. I agree, Vexar replied, surprising everyone. This violates our most sacred laws on biological manipulation. Why help us? Sam asked suspiciously. Vexar's expression changed in a way the humans were beginning to recognize as thoughtfulness. The wilderness challenge, he said finally. Your team could have harmed my soldiers many times. Instead, you captured the flag without a single injury. You showed restraint despite your capabilities. Eric nodded slowly. So what's our next move? The division has established a research facility in orbit, Vexar said. That is where they take the collected specimens. We need to get up there, Olivia insisted. Impossible, Clevtor said. It's heavily guarded. Greg smiled slightly. Nothing's impossible. We just need the right strategy. Vexar studied the humans with new respect. Perhaps, but you should understand the risk. If we move against the division, we challenge powerful forces within the Confederation. Those powerful forces stole animals from our planet, Dr. Fisher said firmly. They need to give them back. Vexar nodded. Then we must prepare quickly. My sources indicate they are planning to move the specimens off-system within 3 days. 3 days to plan a space heist, Sam said with a grim smile. Should be interesting. The orbital research facility loomed ahead, a dark metal structure against the stars. Commander Vexar's shuttle approached slowly, transmitting clearance codes he had obtained through his military authority. Inside the shuttle, the human team prepared for the mission. Dr. Martins and Dr. Fisher would identify and secure the Earth animals. Captain Daniels and Lieutenant West would handle any security threats. Greg Mason would track any animals that might have been released within the station. Remember, Vexar cautioned, we must recover the research data as well as the specimens. We cannot allow their genetic work to continue elsewhere. The shuttle docked smoothly. Clev Tor, who had insisted on joining the mission, operated the airlock controls. Security systems bypassed, he reported. We have 30 minutes before the next patrol. They moved through the station's sterile corridors, following Vexar's directions to the main research area. The facility was eerily quiet. Too easy, Sam whispered to Eric. Where is everyone? They soon had their answer. Entering a large circular chamber, they found dozens of alien scientists working frantically. Surrounding them, in transparent containment units, were Earth animals, wolves, eagles, snakes, and even a full-grown tiger pacing angrily. They're accelerating their research, Olivia realized. They know we're onto them. Before they could plan their next move, alarms blared throughout the station. The voice announced, "Unauthorized entry detected. Security protocols engage." So much for surprise, Greg muttered. The scientists scattered as security doors began to close. Sam and Eric rushed forward, jamming the doors to the main laboratory open. "Get the animals," Eric shouted. "We'll handle security." Dr. Fisher ran to the nearest control panel. "I need to override their containment systems." Clev Tor joined her, his slender fingers flying over the alien interface. "The release sequence is complex. It will take time." Commander Vexar stepped forward to confront the lead scientist, a tall Voldarian with specialized implants covering half his face. "Director Mensvor," Vexar said, "this facility violates Confederation law on unauthorized biological research." "The law is secondary to security," Commander Mensvor replied. "Earth's biological assets represent the greatest opportunity in centuries." Meanwhile, Greg had located a section of the lab where smaller containers held insects, spiders, and various reptiles. He began carefully securing them for transport. Security forces burst into the chamber. Captain Daniels and Lieutenant West took defensive positions, using non-lethal techniques from their wilderness challenge to disable the guards without harming them. "Just like the forest," Sam called to Eric. "Use their momentum against them." As the battle continued, Dr. Fisher and Clev Tor succeeded in unlocking the containment units. The challenge now was safely securing the frightened and angry animals. "They're stressed and confused," Olivia said, approaching the tiger's open container carefully. "We need to calm them." Greg joined her, speaking in low, soothing tones to the big cat. "Hey there, big guy. We're taking you home." Remarkably, the Earth animals seemed to respond to the humans' presence, becoming calmer despite the chaos around them. Commander Vexar, who had subdued Director Mensvor, watched in amazement. "Even in this artificial environment, you connect with these predators." With the animals secured and the research data downloaded, the team retreated to their shuttle. As they pulled away from the station, Vexar received a transmission from Confederation High Command. "It seems," he said, turning to the humans, "that our mission has forced the Council to reevaluate Earth's classification." 2 weeks later, the team gathered at the newly established Interspecies Cooperation Center in Washington. The Earth animals had been returned to their natural habitats. The Biological Assets Division had been disbanded. Earth is now classified as an evolutionarily unique biosphere, Zax Nor announced formally. Its wildlife is to be protected, not exploited. And humans? Olivia asked. Clev Tor stepped forward, now wearing the insignia of a senior researcher. Humans are recognized as evolved guardians of a complex ecosystem. The Confederation requests your expertise in understanding other diverse worlds. Greg smiled. So we went from being dangerous animals to being zookeepers. More than that, Commander Vexar said, Earth will now serve as the Confederation's primary training ground for xenobiologists and survival specialists. As the aliens and humans discussed the future, outside the window, a red-tailed hawk soared freely in the sky, no longer a weapon, just a perfect product of evolution on a remarkable world called Earth.